Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Kamala Harris flopping on Steven Colbert, which, yeah, when you flop on like the biggest softballs on the planet, yeah, probably not good for your political career. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on the good old X. He says, quote, Colbert just asked Kamala if she would do anything differently than Biden. She gives no answer and then serves 60 meaningless seconds of word salad, which, yeah, in terms of shooting yourself in the foot, politically speaking, it's almost unfathomable being this bad. Like, Biden had his ineptitudes, obviously, and he had some terrible policies. He did have, again, he had a couple. I will always give him credit for not being a gun grabber in terms of during the 2020 primary when he was going up against Kamala. Well, they said, would you ban AR-15s and what would you do? And Kamala said, oh, yeah, if the Congress did do anything in 100 days, I'll pass an executive order, just ban them all. And to Biden's credit, he said, you can't do this. It's unconstitutional. You have a process. But Kamala's like, she gave a cliche platitude. She's like, you should stop saying about, what we can't, and say, yes, we can. And more on sheep clap for her. Although it still wasn't enough for her to really gain any traction in the 2020 primary, but partially digress. Now, again, this is over Stephen Colbert. Let's see if she has her cliche, Volkswagen-sized earrings on, too.
Of course. Polling shows that a lot of people, especially independent voters, really want this to be a change election, and that they tend to break for you in terms of thinking about change. You are a member of the present administration. Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I noticed.
And so that would be one change in terms of. But also, I think it's important to say with 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country. I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people. We have aspirations, we have dreams, we have incredible work ethic, and I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow opportunity, and in that way grow the strength of our nation.
And the sheep still clapped for her. She just said nothing. And yes, she does have her Volkswagen size earrings that some people say maybe is a microphone for her. We'll see if that theory ever comes to fruition. But he gave her the biggest softball of all time. All she had to do was say, thanks for this question, Stephen. Here's 3 things I'm going to do better and different than Biden. Here's policy A, here's policy B, here's policy C, here's policy D. This is how they're going to fix the Americans' top 3 things they care about in this upcoming election. That's the biggest softball of all time. And she still fumbled or dropped it down the field or whatever sports balls metaphor you prefer. It's comically bad. It's almost unfathomable. And yet, the sheep still clap for her, which is perhaps how much mentally degraded the U.S. population has become, where they just clap for cheap platitudes and just cliche non-answers. And don't get me wrong, there's some people on the far right who'll do this as well, which is just, voting for someone just because there's a letter next to their name, or just because they say emotional rhetoric and, the old cliche, we need to get America back to work, which, that's a cheap, easy way to get claps. The real question is how. What policies do you have? How could that, she didn't say how's she going to fix inflation? How's she going to fix the border? Those are 2 of the biggest topics people care about for this upcoming election, and she addressed none of them, and just said, I'm actually surprised. She did not, in fact, mention she grew up in a middle-class family. So that's unusual. She didn't do that. Maybe the earbud, maybe the alleged earpiece in her head was saying, hey, don't bring that up. Maybe. Now, Web Preview Valley got 1.2 million views, as well as 22,000 likes. We also have, and Wokeness simply says her response to the question, which so mentally vacuous. So they asked her, what are you going to do differently? She goes, I'm not Biden, I'm 28, and I am not Donald Trump. Again, there are a lot of people who hate Trump, which is a pretty low bar in terms of why you're voting for someone, is because you just hate the opposition, which is ridiculous. But again, I got 2.3 thousand likes for that comment. Paul Zuba says, so is Kamala's usual deflection nonsense, getting 298 likes. She also didn't laugh. Where's her cackle at? The Right Girl says there will be no major changes. They're the exact same puppet working for the same master. If anything, Biden's terrible policies would just be accelerated, so America will continue to collapse faster. 181 likes. Greg Mariano says this is worse than anyone could have expected, getting 238 likes. Socialism creates suffering says, quote, she must be a low IQ dolt, but hey, she was raised by a middle-class family, so it's all good, getting 243 likes. Now, J. Petrie says, never forget the interview with Trump. Says, the time when Steven Colbert and the audience cheered for Trump, they actually deleted the entire episode from their website. And 311 likes, which, yep. Colin Sorrenzio says she literally had no answer to the question asked. I've never seen anything like this. How anyone can vote for this beyond me, getting 369 likes, which, yeah, one of the most mentally vacuous things I ever hear is vote blue no matter who, which is literally just a cult mentality of, yeah, just doesn't matter who the candidate is, just vote for him. And don't get me wrong, there's a couple people on the right who do that as well, but I can't help but notice there's not a huge mantra on the right. There's actually people who critique Trump, especially with the people who are critical of Operation Warp Speed. I mean, people actually boo him at the rallies, but they still overall like him. I mean, it seems like, leftists, you gotta be all in, or you'll be socially ostracized by all of them. Let's see here. You also have Crazy Moments saying, or bringing up the fact that 60 Minutes actually, in true Orwellian fashion, rewrote and actually redid her entire answer to a question to make her sound more intelligent and favorable. 9-Inch Couch says, and the clapping seals support the narrative. Clap, clap, getting 243 likes. Again, I mean, these are supposed to save her campaign. It's supposed to boost her up in the polls by going on all these popular talk shows and, winning hearts and minds of Americans, which, yeah, we're seeing the polling right now is not in her favor. Granted, there's also shadow campaigns, ballot harvesting, which in some states is illegal. So who knows at the end of the day how many votes she'll really get. But yeah, right now it's not looking too good. But let me know in the comments. Do you think they're inspired by this Stephen Colbert interview? It'll actually help her at the end of the day. Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.